And indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Holy indeed. Not because you are better than any of us, because you are holier than thou, but because you are whole. How about that? You are exactly as you are, whole. You holy individual, you. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back in a second. Gonna have to go ahead and make myself whole or something like that, get more of my own stuff. But I am looking forward to today's topic. It's kind of in the air of relationships, importance within relationships, assigning importance outside of yourself to relationships. Good topic. I don't think we've ever streamed with this as a perspective because I've been embarrassed at the state of our house for years. And today I was like, you know what? Embarrassed for who? Why? What is embarrassed? What does it even mean? Is it important? Is importance outside of me? In the you? Or is it you as me? Hmm? I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna go and get my pipe, Mary Joanna's, Ermias Blur, cards, and a book of thing we're saying. I'm back in a second. Hold the space for me. Look at that beautiful tree. Ah, skibopty boo. Is that a Jovan I see? Jovan! Love to you. Joy Vive. To you too. Dear Shannon and Nana. What's wrong with your house? There's nothing wrong with the house. It's just, expectation and suffering. Thinking that things should be one way instead of another. Thinking that if they are one way instead of another, things will be one way instead of another. Not realizing that importance doesn't arise from things being one way or another, but it arises from you being one way or another. And in any moment, you can choose to think one way or another. I got to have an amazing night with my bro, my sibling, and invited my dad as well to join us as we were sitting outside watching the stars. We saw a bunch of shooting stars and stuff, and we went into a bunch of topics. We went into topics about relationships. We went into topics about perception, perception, and how my dad has this thing that he likes saying, where he goes, "Ons lewe in 'n gebroke wêreld," which directly translates to, "We live in a broken world." You know. And every single time I hear someone say something like that, I retaliate. I'm like, no, the world is not the thing that's broken. Our perception of the world is the thing that is broken, you know? And my dad was like, yeah, but, people are getting raped and murdered and so and so and so right now on this earth. I'm like, yes, and yet here we are, sitting amongst one another, having conversations about the nature of humanity, looking at the stars. Is that a bee? No, it's just a small little fly. You see that little dude? What are you doing, dude? Go away. Thank you. And we were just, sitting, gently having a conversation, having a good time even. And I told my dad, I basically took him through a contemplation where I was like, look at the trees, look at the grass, see every single seed pod as a little firework coming out of the ground and slow-mo exploding right in front of our eyes. See our little puppy, joining us right now. Is my Wi-Fi not working? Okay. Like I was basically just listing all of these things in that moment that we can assign value, good, beauty, non-brokenness to, you know. And I mentioned that as soon as we place our awareness on these things that we value, on these things that we actually want to perpetuate, that becomes our reality. That yes, there's hectic shit happening in the world right now. Yeah, surely. Of course. We're not pretending that there's not. But as soon as you acknowledge that you're the one creating the perception of the hectic shit, you have a responsibility to. You have the responsibility to. Importance is in you. It's not in me. It's in you. It's completely in you. Think about two pencils on either sides of a table, right? Pencil one, pencil two. You can imagine the graphite, the little wood, paint around it, right? You can see the pencils. Now, even though the pencils are identical, they occupy two different points of space. Hmm? Just a little bit of a mental perturber. The exact same thing, you know? It could have used wood from the same tree, could have used the same single long unit of graphite, right? They could have been, one to one. They came out, looking exactly identical. If you had to replace one pencil with another, the person whose pencil it was would not notice. And yet, as you look at both of these pencils as individuals, identical, yet they occupy two different times, two different spaces. And to acknowledge that we are all that, the same thing, acknowledging different times and different spaces, to realize that that is important. That is an important caveat, an important fact of your reality. And instead of to believe that you are a victim to this, to believe that you're here for a reason, and to, again, coming back to the responsibility, to take responsibility for that reason in a way where you bring more love, you know, instead of less, instead of more fear, bring more love. I love you. Thank you for listening. That's the thing for today. Me and my brother went into talking about relationships as well. The gift of being single. We were kind of like talking about the fact that we'll probably only find real partners that we want to be with long term in our 30s. How I have a homie who's like really kind of concerned with whether or not he'll be able to find someone, kind of like talking about standards, and how the standards we have makes it difficult for us to be with someone. Talking about friends of my brother who was in a relationship, ended his relationship, got back into a relationship, within a few months. And something that my brother talked to me about that was interesting is this interpretation of importance, where when he and this girl he's with right now initially started talking, and my brother asked him, "What do you think about this girl?" He was like, hmm, like, "Oh, she's nice, I guess, but." Mm. And then when she showed a little bit more interest from her side, then his interest kind of grew alongside that. And now, in their perception, they are both in love with one another, right? He has inadvertently applied more importance on this relationship and on this person outside of him because of the implications, because of the fractal that they are participating in together, right? And realizing that even though that's possible for all of us, that is technically not the thing that applies the importance in the first place. It's still you applying the importance, but you can be you can be tricked, you can be convinced into applying importance onto things that aren't necessarily important, you know? Realizing that you are what's important, not from a place of ego, not from a place of I am better or I deserve some sort of, exceptional treatment because I am of importance, but to realize that in your life, in your experience, you need to prioritize, importantize yourself. You need to take care of yourself. And I had this conversation deeply with my dad last night about the time we have. Like my dad, he's been neglectant of his health, you know, and it hurts me and it worries me to see him neglecting his health at this stage of his life. He's in his 50s. And I had this conversation with him, and my brother was echoing that he can't afford to play around anymore. You know, that he can't afford to place importance outside of himself to the point where he doesn't give himself anything. He doesn't give himself the time. He doesn't give himself the good food. He doesn't give himself the exercise. And in that way, like, we can't exercise for one another. You know, it would be pretty cool if you could just be like, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna check out, and then my personal trainer is gonna train my body for me. I mean, who knows the future we're getting into, but I don't know if I want to do that, right? Like, it's something you have to do for yourself. And if you don't consider yourself important, if you don't consider your health important, if you don't consider your day-to-day experience of life important, then these things almost become difficult. It becomes impossible even for you to justify doing stuff like that because it's not important. Hmm? You, dear friend, are so important. Please, please take care of yourself. It's gonna get better. I promise. I promise it's gonna get better. And if it doesn't get better, you can be like, "What's up, Melt? You said it's gonna get better." Fucking liar. And I'll be like, "Shoot, guess I was wrong." Shit. But I have somewhat of a track record, at least in my personal experience, of not being wrong. You know, about things getting better. Things will probably get worse first, little bit worse. Maybe worse up until 2024, and then good. Okay. Keep showing up. Stay healthy, please. Please stay healthy. Drink enough water. Get ample sleep. Move your body. You are important. Okay? Do you believe me? Say, I believe you, Mel. I'm important. Say it. Say it right now. I agree, Melty. How are you going to know how to love others when you don't know how to love yourself? You cannot pour from an empty cup. Beautifully said. Such a beautiful analogy. There's also been documented proof of visualizing working out slash being younger changes the physical body. Yes, you can literally imagine doing push-ups right now. All right, imagine it. Be like, yeah, and then I'm gonna get closer to the ground, and then I'm gonna go further away from the ground. I'm gonna use my pec muscles to push myself away from the earth. Just in imagining it, you have now elicited the neuronal fractals that is attached to that beingness, to that doingness, to that exercise, if you will. And that we know now that we can literally induce health benefits, not only health benefits, but skill. You can induce skill imagining yourself practicing a skill. Doesn't that boggle your brain? So they did a study where they had a group of people sinking hoops, you know, like actually physically sinking hoops. And then they had a group of people that they told a visualization exercise, you know, where exactly they stood on the court, visualizing the hoop, and then visualizing themselves shooting the ball through the hoop. And the people that had physical exercise and the people that had mental exercise had inconclusive data, as in they basically had the same level of improvement. Just by thinking good thoughts, dear friend, just by thinking that you are capable of something, whatever it is you believe that you're capable of, whatever it is you believe you're not capable of, you're right. You're right. That's how important your opinion of yourself is. Because you're right, dear friend. Love all the windows, but get so much sun. It is. You know, the sun comes up from that side as well. So, brother, I don't know if you can see, yeah. Brother, Rdo's room, Vessel's room, my parents' room. So they get absolutely blasted by light. No sleeping in this house. No need to be embarrassed, Mel. Not actually. Not actually. I mean, I was probably at first, before, but now coming into what's important, you know, I'm just seeing it melt away. Makes me happy. Thank you, dear Shan. And I get to share a little bit of this tree. I feel it might be a little bit better visually on the Reddit because of the vertical, you know, aspect ratio, but I'm happy to be sharing this tree. She's been beautiful. Like, I've been a little bit in love as of late, actually. Hey, Y is here too. So much love to you. Gateway Process loves to you too. Thank you for joining us, dear friend. I honestly think it would be neat to sit with Papa Melt. Likely challenging, possibly uncomfortable, but it would be hard to not find an opportunity for growth there with the contrast and perception. Ooh, Jovan, echoing more of the stuff that we talked about. You know, it was something that I mentioned to my dad yesterday as well. You know, this fighting, not fighting want to change each other. Like I mentioned this specifically to him, that this want to change one another is actually the crux of the problem. Because he wants me, desperately wants me to, conform to the cult of Christ, and I desperately want him to unconform with the cult of Christ. And this is like the most opposing positions to be, approaching each other from. So I told him yesterday that our want to change one another is actually the thing that hurts our relationship more than anything. And to realize, to acknowledge that if I wasn't exactly the way I am, and if he wasn't exactly the way that he is, then both of us wouldn't be exactly how we are. And I acknowledge that too. I acknowledge that too, Jovan. It can be uncomfortable. It usually is. When my brother, like me, my brother, and my dad were kind of in this area looking at the stars together. And it was basically for a lot of it, me and my dad conversating back and forth, and Rudo just listening until my dad left and I could have a conversation with Rudo. It's almost like me and Rudo inhabit a whole new world when we're alone. Like there's a next level of connection that arises from that experience. Love is true. Love is true, Javan. I love him so much. I just feel we can't afford to make mistakes. He can't afford, right? Like, at least not at this point. Maybe that's just my perception. I told him that I want him to live 150 years. He laughed at me. I'm like, dude, I'm not actually joking. I'm not actually joking. Can't be dying on me. Need to live at least 100 more years. Laughs. Dude, I'll drag you kicking and screaming. Where are you from? Your accent is cool. I'm from South Africa, friend. Thank you for asking. Lil Bit VH. Lil Bit. Lil Bit. I don't know how to say your name. Lil. I'll call you Lil. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's nice to have you too. Still waking up. How about you? Thank you for the love, dear Maxine, brother Rambler. Love to you. It's nice to have you here with me. Feeling at peace and warm fuzzies. How's everyone? I'm feeling at peace and warm fuzzies as well. There's air to breathe. I'm being held down by gravity, not being flung into deep space right now. It's pretty lit. It's pretty cool of you, Earth. Thank you for having so much mass. Thank you. Gateway Pros has been joining me in it too. Blessed and highly favored. Glad you're doing well. Choi V, it makes me so happy to hear you're doing well as well. I'm happy to hear that. I'm feeling a little tired, but good. So much love. I took an etymology class last night, and my mind is bugging out. I love you, Gateway. Entomology? Entomology. Entomology is entomology. Entomology. I don't know. That fractal doesn't exist in my brain. Please teach me. Teach me what it means, Jovan. Entomology. Anything in particular that's making your mind run? Anything that you feel is of importance? Do let us know. Yes, I think I feel good because I'm here. Yes, Jovan. I love bugs. Me too. Me too. I feel bugs, especially like I'm biased. I feel like I'm like bugs are teaching me actively how to be an even more loving being, so that I can love all of them equally. Because I'm a little bit biased towards, mosquitoes, cockroaches, and flies. Flies less so. Like as of late, when I'm meditating and a fly lands on me, I'm more prone to watch him than I am to shoo him, right? So I feel I figured out the flies. The bees also don't bother me anymore. They did. 2 days ago, and then I was like, you know what? If I die, I die. And now they leave me alone. They're like, this dude's no fun anymore. He doesn't run away. Yeah, bitches. Yeah, what's up? Yeah. Ermius blur to you, friends. Same. Getting the coffee percolating now. I had to. So yesterday, fortunately, let me backtrack a little bit by saying, fortunately, our rolling blackouts got rescheduled to the point where they're not scheduled over my stream time, which I'm very happy about. They got moved back 2 hours, which means they start or they finish. Basically, the power outage finishes when my yoga starts. So during that process, during that 2 hours before my yoga, is usually when I have like my meditation, I get ready for my stream and stuff. I drink a coffee. And yesterday I forgot to crush beans, for my coffee. So I was like tripping out about that. I was like, oh, it's coming a bobbity boo. I can't crush my beans. Because I don't have electricity, right? Because in my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm okay with not having electricity. I can still boil water using fire. Yeah, I can do that. Still make myself my coffee. And then I get to the coffee making and I'm like, damn, I don't have crushed beans. So I take a mortar and pestle and I hand crush my beans. And I feel like this primal animal. I mean, like, yes. Crushes beans with hands, puts beans in coffee maker, make myself a nice, cup of coffee. It was a good cup, and I got to pre-crush my beans today. I actually set an alarm to make sure I crush my beans before the power goes off. So yeah, coffee for the win. The lengths that we will go through to get some caffeine in our systems. Thank you, Ravler, for going through some lengths, Fred. Drinking mine right now. Have you tried the powdered lion's mane coffee? The clarity that comes from it is profound. I have some lion's mane, myceliated grain lion's mane, which I bought from a friend who started a business, who was like, "Hey, Mel, I know you like mushrooms and stuff. How about you buy some of my lion's mane?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll support you, dear friend." And I buy lion's mane from him for like $60, which is a lot of money to me. That's like literally, I don't want to lie to you, friends, a quarter? No, like maybe maybe not a quarter, maybe like 1/5. It's like 1/5 of my entire month's amount of capital. I spend, and I even give him extra to support him in his business. And the product arrives, and it's myceliated grain. And my brain is just like, you friends are like, what the fuck are you talking about, Mel? So mushrooms, especially something like lion's mane. Technically, lion's mane is a wood-loving fungus, so it really likes growing on wood. And if it grows on wood, it can produce a fruit, like this beautiful. It's called a tooth fungus. It creates these small individual teeth, that grow over top of one another and creates this big, bulbous, very thick, fungus. And that stuff is packed with something. I'm not exactly sure what the compound is called. It's somewhere in my brain, but I can't access it right now. But basically, it boosts something called brain derived neurotrophic factor, which is the compound in your brain that elicits new neuronal development. So you literally grow more brain cells for it. And the myceliated grain has like literally 5% of that compound in comparison to the fruit. And I spend, in my opinion, an absurd amount of money on what I didn't want. And I was like, dude, is this myceliated grain? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should tell people that. Maybe you should tell people that. Oh goodness. So I want to say I've tried it, but I've not tried it in full just yet, Maxine. One day I will. Hopefully I'll be able to grow my own lion's mane even. We just don't have the climate for it. It's so dry here in South Africa. Ah, it's so dry. It's absurdly dry. Thank you though, Maxine. Who doesn't want some brain derived neurotrophic factor? Cheers to you. I don't know if you still have some of it left. Also, friends, I've received my medicine card deck for animal guides. DM me if you'd like a reading. Thank you. Would you pull one for me right now, Maxine? If you'd be willing, dear friend. I understand if you would like a DM instead. One day, Melty, we will drink coffee together and smoke a blunt to celebrate the sacredness of the morning and the rising. Mm. I'm just imagining, looking out on that morning, seeing like a crispness, a freshness, a newness to the entire world. I'm gonna see it right now too. Ceaselessly beautiful. Ceaselessly you. I've not tried lion's mane in my coffee. It sounds delicious though. I don't know about delicious. Like for me, the thought of fungus, the fungus taste alongside coffee. I don't know if my brain really wants to compute that, but them brain chemicals. Want some brain chemicals? Get some brain chemicals. I think my comments are broken again. Yeah. Hey, brother Isaac is here too. So much love to you. Joe, you and Joe have fun with them bugs. Life is fascinating. The more I learn about things, the more I'm aware of how much we don't know. How much is yet to be discovered, and it is all up to our youth. And we are all youthful. Yeah, literally. It's crazy you say that, Jovan, because I had this exchange with a friend today as well, talking about uh, I don't know if excess is the right word. Let's call it heroic. When it comes to the heroic side of psychedelic experiences, where you can allow yourself an experience like that, but then in that experience, there's so much information, there's so much knowing that you realize you kind of like knowing less. You know, you like not knowing, and that's why you're here as you are, Greg's. Huh? And sometimes we just disappear, dude. We're like, yeah, how about I don't want to know? How about that? And then we don't. Huh? And then we don't. Thank you. It's good to see you too, Fred. Jumpin' Jack is here too, saying good morning. Good evening to all of you exciting creatures. Good morning to you, dear Fred. It's nice to have you too. Yes, I will, Melty. I prefer to see the person when I concentrate on the deck. So now is the perfect time. Give me a minute to focus your friend and I'll put it in the stream. Hmm. So I'm seeing something that looks like, and then from that, there's a pig's face peeking out of it. I don't know if there's a pig in the deck. I don't know if I want the pig card to be pulled, but that is what I saw in this moment. Thank you, Maxine, for letting me channel too. Joe, I'm loving your energy today. Isn't it beautiful? Jovan, sending such good vibes to you too. Still not a fan of those lots of leggy, bitey buggies. I love them from a distance, just like, cool, wow. How about you stay all the way there? You know, like I'm before, like when you try to go live, you kind of get faced with a bunch of thumbnails as well. And for some reason, since I don't really watch content on my Meltmore account, the algorithm is like, dude, please, why don't you ever watch anything? Please watch just something. And one of the thumbnails that they suggested to me was this worm that had like teeth, and like a four pattern. And I was just like, why? Why my eyes, please? And it's insects like that, Jovan. It's insects like that that kind of don't tickle my fancy. We'll love them from a distance. Love them all the way there. My favorite tattoo is a cockroach on my thigh. People don't understand, but some things can't be explained. I love everything. You truly are a divine being. Gateway process. You understand, friend. You understand. That's what people have to understand in seeing a tattoo like that. They don't have to understand the tattoo. They have to understand that you understand. You understand? Hey, brother dad is here too. Is that some sort of nest in the tree hanging below the branch? This is, yeah. I've told you about these birds a bunch of times. They're the ones that can be a little bit loud. They tackle one another and fall onto the roof. Big nests. Big, big nests. Maybe I can show you some more of them. Like there's one here, and then there's one here. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Look at that. Another one there. And that thing is massive, dude. That thing is like, how could I give you a reference? Mm, mm, the size of a Labrador, a lab, you know, husky, kind of like laying with his legs underneath himself. big nests, and they make multiple entries, and some of their entries are like false entries, so they bamboozle, other creatures that want to mess with them as well. It's a little bit excessive, I think, because they keep building them. They don't stop. I've like watched these dudes still fetching sticks and adding the sticks to those massive nests as well. More power to them, though. More power to them. There we go. Okay, Anna says, I have powdered mushroom in my coffee almost every morning. It settles in the bottom, so you have to continuously stir it and just add a bit of grit and earthy flavor to your drink. Personally, I love it. I'm sold. Thank you, Kayana. So the mushroomy taste is gonna be a put off actually. Terrifying, a worm of fangs. Yes, Greg. Yes. A worm of fangs, I could have gone my entire life not knowing. Not knowing that there is a quad fanged worm, I could be okay not knowing that. But life was like, nah, fam. How about you look? Fashcallion! Love to you, Brother Joe. It's nice to have you here with us now. Thank you for the power. Technically your flowers are done. At least I think I got the one. I think I got the one. It was difficult, dude. I was like actually struggling because it wasn't just me creating a flower for the sake of creating a flower. Now it was me creating a flower with the intention of having been commissioned, having fractals to heed, and then on top of all of that, realizing that at the end of this fractal, you will have to manifest this object and then put it into your space. So like the amount of mental energy that went into that flower today, Brother Bear. So much love to you. I'm looking forward to sending it to you. Hey, love is true. Bugs are like the perfect in between nature and robots. So fascinating. Have you seen the Swarm episode of Love, Death, and Robots, the new season? I feel, I feel you would dig that shiznit. That was my favorite episode of the whole series or the whole season. Yeah, the Swarm. We have the swarm on our planet. We are technically the swarm, and our Mama Gaia is the center consciousness. Beard, so much love. Thank you, friends. The legendary bearded Dan man. I'm on the typos this morning. You're doing fine. You're doing so fine. There we go, brother Isaac. Come see your comments. How are we feeling today? Anyone have anything in particular present for them? For me, what's present as of late is the importance of taking care of yourself, in a way where it's like, mm, how do I say this without casting judgment? It's like you get to, at this point in your existence, do something, right? And that something technically can be anything, but to make that something that's going to be good for you going forward, right? To almost like think of it as you're actively investing in yourself. And this is something that I said directly like that to my dad. We were talking about investments and about the advice I've given my dad over the years. I've been giving my dad good financial advice since I was 14. He has not listened ever, 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 like literally ever. And we were talking about that yesterday, like telling him that over the last decade of me giving financial advice, if you heeded 10% of the advice I've given, we would be less financially unstable, you know. And my dad was like, oh, you don't understand the dynamics of family. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I don't. But I've never expected much. And you're still not listening. And it was like this exchange. And then it basically got to this point where I was like talking about the importance of taking care of yourself and how this body you have is technically a gift. The age we're going into is going to be the age of abundance. We're going to have too much, way too much. We already have too much. We're going to get even more much to have, you know? And more important than anything isn't going to be how much you can get, but how happy you can be with what you have, right? And realizing that on the most fundamental level, the only thing you have is this body. I can strip you naked and you can still have an experience of self. You don't need the clothing to be experiencing self. You don't need the food. You don't need the water. Technically, you don't need the air, but now we're pushing it a little bit. You will have that experience of self up until the moment this self perishes. And to realize that instead of doing things that causes the self to perish faster, to do the opposite, to take care of this self in a way, to think of this self as important in a way where it's going to be the medium, the filter through which you experience everything else, and that investing in yourself in that way is the one thing that will always pay dividends. You'll get gang returns on investing in you. Gang returns. Fash, the anticipation. Woo! I hope you like them, dude. I feel they might be too simple. And I want you to tell me if they're too simple, and then I can, try and make them again. At ease, love to you. Hello to you too, Mr. 576645654. It's nice to have you, dear friend. Thank you for joining us too, for saying hello. Learned last night that bugs are land crustaceans. I don't know if that's information I wanted to. Land crustaceans. Dumbed down to my understanding, lobsters and crabs are water bugs. Yeah, I've had that as an understanding, like the fact that shrimp are technically cockroaches of the earth. They like literally scavenge the surface, eating shit, like eating actual shit. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's what shrimps are. But the fact that the reverse bothers me more for some reason. The fact that insects are are sea bugs, yes. Sea bugs but land bugs. I don't know why this is tripping me out. I feel like maybe we're going through the same trip, Jovan. Oh my goodness, Joe, that is wild. I guess it makes sense. Little organic hydraulic flying crab machines with exoskeletons, dude. Straight up exoskeleton individuals. They have the hard on the outside, the soft on the inside. You know what a trip. You seem tense today, Malty. Do I? I feel a little bit tense. I feel a little bit tense. But I don't have a reason to be tense. And I mentioned this to Shannon as well as we were starting our yoga. It felt to me like I was contemplative, but I wasn't contemplating. And I don't usually get to that point. Usually I'm contemplating something. I'm like, yes, this problem, this issue in my mind that I need to try and resolve. But now it's just like without any issue. Oh goodness, crabs are totally sea spiders. More horror. Thank you. Has anyone ever heard of sea fleas? I know Jovan has. The ones that eat. Oh goodness, I don't even want to verbalize what they do. They're horrible. They eat the tongues of fish and then they live in their mouths. And then they kind of like eat some of the residual stuff that the fish eats. Yeah, that's like one of them big yikeses, as we like to say. Is that what a sea flea is? I think so, right? Right, Kayana? The horror. The horror. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that, Auntie. You've been missed, my dear friend. How are you doing? How's the farm? How's the hill? How's Emma? How's Bobby? Do let us know. Isaac is good. I'm so very grateful to be working from home today. I was tense yesterday from having my pup in a crate for the first time. For the first long day. We really wanted to avoid a crate, but somehow the little man was doing easily $150 in damages every time we left the house, which I wish I could disregard, but alas. Dude, every time suddenly my brain is just like love you, brother bear. It's all good. He was totally fine. No messes in the crate, just a calm puppy. So I'm happy to have a free pup today. I'm sure he's happy too. Thank you, brother Isaac, for taking care of both yourself, your home, and your loved ones. Happy I have cats. I'm sorry, Isaac. Why do they do that? I've never had a dog, so I know nothing. I've never had a dog do that, but at the same time, I've always had dogs on my farm, so I don't know. Like the behavior is probably just chaos monkey. Otherwise, feeling so good today. You really helped me recenter and focus. I had a nice hone-in date with my wife yesterday. Listen, this dude has a wife. Have a nice day ahead of me, beloved brother Bear. Have an amazing day, man. Thank you for that. I understand that, Isaac. I'm glad you're working from home today, though. Would a pen setup be possible for Scout? Joy, I really, because he's a puppy. He knows it's bad, but he just gets bored and can't help himself. He's ruined like 8 pairs of nice shoes, tore a huge hole in my carpet, and some other stuffs. A pen might work, but when he's upset or alone, he tends to dig, so the bottom of the crate is good. Luckily, it's only one day a week. He has to be alone for a long time. Other days, just a few hours. Oh, beloved Isaac, I'm sure it's not something that you want. Either way, you know, but it's not something that you're doing from a place of hate or from a place of hurt either. So, love is true. Love is true, dude. Oh, you give Scout a treat when he goes in the kennel? Yeah, good way to condition. And there we go. My puppers are conditioned to love their little kennel now. They compete to sleep and have the door open even. It's like, no, mine. No, give it to me. So happy to hear you're feeling better. Thank you for the love. Yeah, it's a lot. He'll be fine in a year or so when he's grown up a bit. Just a temporary measure. He does enjoy it when the door is open and always is. There we go. Love you, my friends. Really helped my refocus. Here is what is real, and here is what matters. There is non-existence. Once you are there, you are here. Yes, what I say. Together with you friends, my favorite place to be. Together is the only place worth being. Together is the only place worth being. Like burn that into your brain. Together is the only place worth being. Hmm? You can go anywhere and go to the moon, go to Jupiter. If you have to do it alone, it's gonna suck ass. It's gonna suck so much ass. Doing things together is where the beauty arises. Remember, 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 Simba. Hi to you, Charming Science. It's nice to have you. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope, indeed, exactly. Ooh, card 36, the lizard. The medicine of this card is the shadow side of reality, where your dreams are reviewed before you decide to manifest them physically. This is the card of dreamers. Look to see what's following behind you. Is it fear? Lizard. The lizard may be telling you to pay attention to your dreams and their symbols. Make yourself a dream log and record all that you remember. Be sure to pay attention to all symbols in your dreams. Hmm. So, I feel it was like 2 days ago? 2 days ago, where I had the, the sprayer. Is that what you call it in English? Sprinkler. There we go. The sprinkler. I had it kind of in that little area, and it was going around and then hitting onto the side of that tree, this little squibobble tree, right? And the lizard was sitting on this branch, and the water was like whoosh, and then hitting on that branch. And I was just watching this little blue-headed. We call them low-kop kogemanders. They're technically lizards, but they're more rugged. Yes, rugged. You know, all-terrain lizards. But he has this beautiful blue head, and I was just in awe watching him, kind of like waiting for the water, you know, and then the water would like push onto him, and he would be baking in the sun, and then the water push, and I was just like, this little dude is like really living life, isn't he? Making the fullest of what is in this moment. So, thank you. Thank you so much, Maxine. That feels very synchronous to me. Hey, Boob, I was thinking of you and the fam last night. Same, actually. Saw a giant grub and reminded me of the torso-sized grub y'all found on the hill. I know, I'm exaggerating. Torso-sized grub? I'm guessing that's a bug? Grub to me is food, weirdly enough. A giant food. And it reminded me of the torso-sized food y'all found on the hill. That doesn't compute to me still. Grub. Melty, I'll send you a pic of the card and the inscription. I'm gonna freak out if the lizard matches the one on the card. Maybe. Who knows? That would be pretty cool, actually. Mm. I've been holding on to this little pipe. I stacked it like 44 minutes ago. And yet, it wasn't what's important. Huh? This was important. And now, having acknowledged what's important, I'm gonna smoke a little bit of Mary Joanna's. Take a little bit of a puff. What's my intention? Remember what's important. Yeah, that'll definitely do it. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. I'm just leaking from my eyes. Can someone tell me where that line is from? Oh no, you're leaking from your eyes. I can't even remember the movie's name. I do. No? Yeah, I do. Ant Bully. I think it's called Ant Bully. Yeah, you're leaking from your eyes. Would you, if you were shrink down to the size of ants, eat amphid sugar poop? Oh goodness, what is wrong with me? Why do I ask things like that sometimes? I'm so sorry, but I'm still serious. I want you to answer me. Right? Like amphids are these small, almost like the teddy bears of insects. They're kind of soft. They drink sap from plants, and then they drink so much of the sap, and they process most of the water that they poop out literal sugar droplets. You know, and ants will basically cultivate them. They keep them like cattle, and they groom them. You know, and then they wait to receive this dollop of sugar poop, and they eat that, and they're like, yeah, this is sicketh, you know. And I'm imagining myself, and because and they did it in ant bully, you know, they shrinked a person to the size of an ant, and then they they serve these these dollops of sugar goo, and this dude is like, ooh, this is sicketh, and then he realizes where it comes from, and it breaks his brain, you know. And now I'm trying to break my brain by asking myself if I would, knowing full well what it is I'm eating. Like if I could actually do some analysis, if I could find out what is in it, you know, like to down to the biological compounds and especially the microorganisms found within, maybe. But it's hard. But that question broke my brain. Yes, melt, melt, Maxine. Sending you so much love. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Send you back. You were the first person I pulled for in this deck. The cards were literally stuck together from being so new. Yeah, yeah. So nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel honored, Maxine. I'm sure you're gonna do so much good work for that deck. If you don't cough when you hit, you ain't getting lit. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. You know, just smokes hours and hours and hours, kilograms of weed, not coughing, being like, oh, please, universe, please, why not? Why? Let me cough, let me be high. Universe is like, nah, dude, smoke more kilograms of marijuana. No coughing for you. Certain species of spiders keep frogs as pets. They do. Their relationship is beneficial on both parts. Also, spiders have paws. Yeah, they have like these little fluffy paws, and then they have these little hooks coming out of their paws. And instead of walking on the webs, they use those hooks to tension their arms against the webs. And then they move like this. They don't actually do this. They just, these hooks stay stationary. Very cool. Very, very cool. Something to pursue. Go and Google cat footsies. Cat feetsies. You might get put on a list, but who knows? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cute, you know. And the whole frogs being kept by spiders, they do that actually, Rambler. So the spiders are small enough to be eaten by the spider. Technically, of the frog is small enough to be eaten by the spider. So in this dynamic, the spider is the bigger entity, and the frog is the smaller entity. So what they do with this beneficial relationship, instead of eating them, they let the frogs live in their burrows, protecting them from predators in the outside world as well. And then that little frog keeps the spider eggs free or clean from parasites. So things that will come into the spider nest and eat the little eggs, the frog will then in turn eat those little parasites. So they formed a symbiotic relationship where the frog takes care of the eggs, and then the spider lets the frog live in its den. Just imagine being a little frog and just this Giga Chad organism spider walks over you, dude. And you're like, sicketh, I live in this dude's house. He's adopted me. I have a spider of my own. Bigweed, yeah, bigweed. Good vibes over here. I dropped an upvote. Take care, bro. Love to you, Far Dealer. Thank you for the love, dear friend. It's nice to have you here. Thank you for the update. Mm. At East, it's nice to have you too, friend. How you doing? How's life treating you? I think I've missed a few. That's too much. Connell, open door, so happy. Always spoiled. Not because I can't go anywhere else. Let me just check if my comments are broken again. Yeah, they were. I YouTube. YouTube is like, what's up? You want some spice? How far ago? There we go. I'm getting close. Right, Shannon. So nice. That statement, Melt, brought to mind the idea of wear and tear on the body like a spiritual currency. We can spend that however we want. We receive something for spending that currency. Ooh, dude, what a good point that is. I wasn't thinking of it from the perspective of currency, but now that you mentioned it in that way, I can't help but, right? Because in a way, it's almost like you're spending the same currency. Like this energy, this conscious energy you have right now is your currency, and you can use this currency to pick up a gun and fire into a school that some people use their currency for, and it creates that experience, fear, angst, and then eventually death, for the person or the people involved in that whole experience. Or you can use this exact same currency to connect lovingly with friends, and depending on how you spend your currency will allow for certain experiences within the infinity. If you spend your currency wisely, you'll get wise experiences. I have a spider of my own, right? Think about it, Maxine. Wouldn't you brag as like a small little froggy when you have a massive ass spider Chad daddy taking care of you? You know, you get to eat parasites from her eggs. That sounds like the coolest thing ever. Spider Hovey, yeah, Spider Hovey. Every time you mention Spice Melty, my brain goes to the old school movie Dune. Not sure if you've seen it, but it's so good. There's a new school movie on Dune as well. They also kind of talked about spice. Spice is apparently what they travel the universe with in the Dune universe. And there's like this whole kind of like parallel between DMT and spice as well. But spice to me, at least in the way that I use it, is usually like it's a zest. It can be almost like a burning sensation to the meal that is words. Right? If I'm feeding you a meal by saying something, if a sentence is a digestible bite of food, for example, adding something in that sentence that could be seen as spicy would cause a little bit of heat potentially in you, at the same time allowing you to bring coolness into it for yourself. Yeah, I'm pushing it a little bit, but that's essentially what it is. At East, hi, dear friend. And I don't know if you know, but you have 26 other characters. Well, technically 24 other characters to use to communicate with. We would love to know more than just hi. What's your name, for example? Where are you from? This is the time in the morning where the sun streams in from the front window, and my dog takes advantage to get a sun bath. It's bliss. Happy Thursday, Melt from Canada. Impossible Light. It's been a while, dear friend. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing that imagery of your doggo making the most of the light. The sun has transcended the tree that was casting a shadow for me. And so we're using the scarf wisely as a sun shield. I feel like I've been getting too much sun on my face as of late. man. I was jokingly singing the other day. Oh, it's nice to be a weirdo. You can be so weirdo. There we go. This is the first time. Thank you for the other one. Thank you again, Impossible Light. I'm in an especially. I think I just realized what it is I'm reflecting about. You know, I shared a little bit earlier that I feel like I'm in a reflective state, but I don't know what I'm reflecting on. And I feel I just realized that the thing I'm reflecting on is it's in a way importance, but also worry. Worry within the capacity of what is important. You know, worried that I can't communicate effectively enough to realize the change I believe needs to be made. You know, and I've at the same time I've been studying Wu Wei again. So I'm getting schooled by the universe actively. Wu Wei is non-doing, non-action, and it's not you laying down and getting steamrolled by the world, but more really going with the flow. You know, to the extreme perspective, like going with the flow, with a realization that nature is always in harmony as itself. You know, and everything is always transcending, always changing form, you know, going from one state into the next. And that the act of trying to change it by force, change it by anarchy, is always going to be just futile because it's always a fighting against the flow. And the only way to truly bring real change into this world is to flow from yourself, to flow with the world as yourself, not trying to change it, but instead just embracing what is. Duality in myself between that understanding and the understanding that I would like to see things done one way instead of another. We always have to be aware. Weird people make the world go around. Yes, yes, Rambler. I believe it. Like a part of me is like, no, I can't say something like that. That is self-serving. And then I'm like, actually, I can say something like that because I'm Rambler serving right now. So yes, Rambler, weird people do make the world go round. Right, Shannon statement. The currency, whether we spend an obscene amount and do something harmful, they're reducing our funds greatly. We still have that choice. Appreciate the fruits of labor. They are the experiences that shape us. You are an experience that shapes me. Isaac, thank you, dear friend, for always being such a sharpening presence. You know, you feel like I feel like my intuitions, my attentions, my intentions become sharper and sharper. Just being in your presence, dear friend. I appreciate you always being willing to share that presence with us. My cat Koji, says Jovive, just got his leg stuck in a plastic bag, tried to run, still stuck, freaked him out, and then dropped it. Oh man. You know, like I mean, I don't know if I want to say this, but at least we can all tap ourselves on the back knowing that we haven't tripped ourselves out getting a plastic bag stuck on our leg, frantically running away from it to the point of shitting ourselves in front of other people. You know, like the cat. Beloved, beloved Koji has humbled all of us by humbling himself. He done scared the crap out of himself. Yes, he did. Shame. Yesterday morning during my yoga, my older dog started puking all over my kitchen floor. That was fun. Oh goodness, the level of like, bruh, can you not? Can you please? Like, don't you know where outside is? Oh, that is terrible. Did he eat something that didn't agree with him? I don't think so. He didn't eat his breakfast, so it was all bile. Goodness, he does that from time to time. I mean, maybe it's better that it's outside of him than inside of him. He probably knows better than us. I laughed out loud in my quiet cubicle. I'd say that it's odd, but I don't eat. I'll get sick to my stomach and throw up bile on occasion. But also, I'm not a dog, so who knows? I feel your body will produce more, you know, and if it's in you in a way that it can get outside of you, maybe it needs to be outside of you. You know? My papa's did just that today. Had to get a little bile out of the walk. No bigs. Sadly, it was on concrete, not the grass. Interesting, the synchronicity. Yeah, I don't know. It's not usual for him to do that, and the vet doesn't seem concerned about it. If only happens here and there. Exactly, Shan. It'll be okay, friend. Whew. Maybe the dogs are feeling the energy as well. I feel like these little critters' poops can't be full of bacteria. Can't be full of bacteria. I mean, they eat much more complex stuff, right? We eat, yeah, actually, we do. I'd eat that poop. The imaginary of that just gave me insane cold chills. Mel, stop. Chat spider isn't real. It can't hurt me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Isaac. I'm not, fortunately, I'm not scared of spiders, but I know some of you friends may be. So, me inducing the imagery, I don't know if I want to do it again. Right? I'm just going to say inducing the imagery. Love you, Isaac. Chat spider can't hurt you. Chat spider isn't real. Isn't honey bee spit technically bee puke? You know, they bring it into their digestive tract, and then enzymes kind of work with that, and then they puke it back out, and then they flap their little wings over it to evaporate the water, and then after the water is evaporated, only the sugars stay behind. So yeah, technically we already do eat like, you know, animal digestive juices, insect digestive juices. So who are we to say? I'm actually also kind of pro eating amphid dewdrops. I'll call them. Dewdrop sounds a little bit that's crazy. Thought of you, Melt, again, watching the new Gel Havers kid. That couldn't be worse. Oh yeah, it could be worse. You know, I could be, you know, like pushing my finger in your eyes or something. You know, I could tell you that I just generally don't like you and that you're a horrible person. Oh goodness, that was. I love Joel Haver's stuff so much, dude. Like, I don't know where all of that creativity comes from. Seriously, like when you watch his stuff, it's so real, and you're like, yeah, I completely see where you're coming from. But to be able to continue making those over and over again, it's bonkers. When he was like, but like, what if when you said, I just told you how I really feel? Like, I hate working with you. Yes, that's a line that really stood out to me as well. And I think you're really, really annoying. That's what my head does to itself sometimes. Brother Isaac, for what it's worth, my head hasn't done that once. I love you. My pupper gets like hypnotized and carried away drinking too much water. Maybe the sound. Suddenly, that's a lot of. Wait a second. Uh, and if I'm not quick enough to say that's a lot of water, bro, you'll eventually end up under my foot. I feel for you, Shanners. You friends. So loving. Loving your beloved, you know, Doges, you know, nonetheless. The spice melang, it's a geriatric substance that prolongs life and increases and incredibly upregulates psychic ability. They don't use it to propel themselves or anything. I mean, listen to what you just said. It's a geriatric substance that prolongs life and incredibly upregulates psychic ability. I'm 90% sure you could, with some finagling, attach DMT to the exact same definition, right? Like for spaceships, they put fools into a literal vat of floating spice, get them super high so that their minds can be used as a galactic GPS and show them the way. You see, I'm happy that I didn't know that so that I can learn that information now, Brother Isaac. Thank you for sharing. They use spice to fold space for intergalactic travel as well as prolonging life. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Stepping in it is awful. Oh goodness, the wet stuff. So just stepping in wet stuff in general is not a vibe. Vitamin D from the sun is good for you, melt. I'm getting plenty of vitamin D. It's just the direct sunlight on my face that's gonna be a little bit right now. That's some culture I can get behind. Exactly, dude. I'm here, God. We've missed you. Having spicy day, bad mood goop. Taking a breath with God. It is Thursday, God. Do you think you're gonna go and play? Think you're gonna smoke some marijuanas? Tell us. Tell us. Is it anything in particular bringing the bad, spicy vibes? We're here to unspicify, friend, if you want us to. If you don't want us to, we're here with you. Love you, Gab. Mercury did go into retrograde, so I mean, I guess. I guess Mercury's in retrogrades. I'm pretty sure. Like I don't know if I'm lying right now, but I don't know if I've ever experienced a state of existence where I haven't heard the words Mercury is in retrograde. At this point, like to my mind, Mercury is just always in retrograde. Gloob, gloob, boob, gloob, boob, gloob, boob, gloob, boob. What does my mind try to understand that? Gloob, boob. Yeah, that's cursed. Thank you, brain. So my mind went through a bunch of iterations to try and understand what glue boob is. The initial iteration was boobs glued together. I'm sorry, that was the initial iteration. I was like, nah, that sounds kind of hectic. You don't want glue between boobs. And then the second iteration was boobs that contain glue. Instead of having a normal plastic container for your super glue, it's boobs. Glue boob, actually. Can I use some glue boob? Here you go. Give someone a little boob that dispenses glue. Guys, it sounds kind of cute. That sounds kind of cute. What do you need to communicate with yourself first in order to make your communication with others more clear and effective? What do you need to communicate with yourself first in order to make your communication with others more clear and effective? That's a great question, Impossible Light. I think Yudi is puking in the background. He is. He is like legit puking in the background. At least he's puking on the grass. You YouTube friends could see him probably. More synchronicities, right? Synchronicities in dogs puking. Who knew? Who knew that there's love literally in everything? So, Impossible Light, what do you need to communicate to yourself? What a cool question. Such a difficult one, you know, like there's a bunch of things that come up to me initially, but I don't know if they would be as easy to communicate to yourself in the first place. You know, like the first answer that came to my mind is that you need to communicate with yourself, to yourself, that you are the Godhead. You know, that's one way to say it, as in the observer, the ultimate observer. You know, the point from which is being observed, and that point is in everything, in the trees, in other people as well. So if you can really communicate to yourself the fact of the Godhead in you, it makes it easier to communicate to the Godhead in others. At least that's the best answer I can come up with right now. Impossible Light, thank you for asking. Die often! You've been missed. I get it, man. What you resist persists. Better to go with the flow and be in harmony with the universe. It's not always easy. Our egos want things to be one way instead of another, causing us to suffer. But we're getting better. Die often, it's nice to have you. Wait, what? What increases psychic ability? Is someone talking about spice? Pretty much. Technically. Talking about is Connor here? He is! He is here. So much love to you. Did anybody watch the recent Meat Canyon video? The one of the Queen? Yes. Unfortunately, I have. I really unfortunately. So unfortunately. Synchro saying, love to all of you. Get a gentle slap on the tush from the universe. Play nice, boy. Much love to you, friends. Love to you too, Connor. We love you. Grub can be referred to grub can refer to grub larva of the beetle, the superfamily Scarabaeodias, or a slang term for food. What do you call bug larvae, Mel? Hmm. Worms? Almost like the word of worms. Uh, pupa? Hmm. Do we have a word for that? I can think of a word to describe what they do, but I can't think of a word to describe them. You know, like we would say in Afrikaans, "Ja, daai goed is kriebel." Like they're squirming, but that's like I don't know what they are. If you know what I'm saying. You work on tunes because you are. There we go. Love is true. I thought about this morning. My brain was on animation. I'm curious about your work. We'd love to see, friend, if you'd like to share any of it. Oh man, we had a friend in school who would make bank by taking bites from grub worms for dollar bills. I mean, man's is an entrepreneur, I guess. Wow, seriously? That dude was ahead of his time eating bugs for money. Freaking, what's that oak's name? Bear Grylls? Bear Grylls don't get nothing. Mans has been doing it longer. Jinx, you and Melt said at the same time. I'm not even surprised. Joy Vive. Synchronicities. Okay, serious question. He ate pupa for money. How are you this morning? Jovan, I've been thinking about doing a traditional charcoal animation based on a guy from South Africa as well. A guy from South Africa? Hmm. Like Nelson Mandela or Elon Musk? He's taking on South Africa. Thank you, Fred. So much love to you. I would love to see something like that. I'm sure it'll be cool. No matter what it is, it'll be a creation, and you would have done it. If you could swap all the notes of two colors, what? My brain suddenly got. That's like asking what's the time on the sun. At least in a moment. I think you're gonna give me an example. Okay, if you could swap all the tones of two colors, what would they be? For example, all greens become purples, all purples become greens. Yo, dude, that's like straight up. I would have that one. All greens become purple. Imagine what the world would look like. Instead of green, you see purple, different shades of purple, light purples and dark purples. I would straight up, yeah, all of them, all of them. Yeah, lose my mind. Go full Lonely Island. Some of your friends will get the fractal. Yeah, I would. That would be so sick, dude. Blues and pinks would be cool too. Imagine pink water, like beautiful pink water. His name is William Kendrick. Check him out. His work is beautiful. It's about apartheid. There we go. That sounds cool, man. Thank you for sharing, actually, Connors. William Kentrith. Kentrith. What a Kendrich? Kentridge? Interesting username. Username. Yes, technically a username. He uses body, names it something. Gabra, sending you hugs. Thank you, Maxine. Love to you, Gab. This is the best retrograde I've ever experienced, to be honest. So many good things happening to me, and good things will continue to. Keep believing in it. I'm so confused. I'm trying to multitask, and all I hear is glue boobs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Maxine. My mind got hijacked too. My mind got hijacked first. Green would be a tough one not to pick because all the plants and grass and leaves being pink would be sick. Exactly, dude. For me, purple is my favorite color. At least my favorite color to see. Technically, green is my favorite color from a perspective of identification, but purple is my favorite color from a perspective of externalization. So I would like for all of the plants to be purple. We actually have like a purplish bush. Happy to hear that come too. So much love. Thank you, Shan. But I want the sky to be purple. So I might, you'll see. So pink, so blue to purple would have your skies and potentially some oceans pretty purple as well. People with blue eyes suddenly have purple eyes. We didn't see that much blue though. I mean, we're seeing a lot of blue by the fact that we have like this whole dome of blue over us, you know, every single day. But where else do we see blue? Like really, you know, other than artificial things. You might see it in a few flowers, but it's a rare color in nature. Oh, Kira Bird, our sunshine sister. So nice to have you here, friend. I've talked about you a few times on stream at this point. We've been missing you. Sending you so much love. Do you friends and family understand your spiritual insights and lifestyle? I cannot seem to effectively communicate the profundity of simple spiritual truths to anyone, since it is more rooted in experience than intellectual. Die often. Hard question. Do they understand? I think they accept more than they understand at this point. But I see a willingness to understand to them, you know? Like my siblings are curious about psychedelics. So there is a willingness for them to understand for themselves as well. But it's difficult, friend. I completely agree with you. The difficulty of trying to effectively communicate something you feel as such a deep and intrinsic truth, you know, a truth of love in a way that you can't necessarily explain it because it is very much experiential, as you mentioned, not intellectual. Like you can't intellectualize love is true, not properly, right? Because what love is true to me means it's like imagery almost, where out of the infinity of like things you can convince yourself of, the only thing that will be true is love, you know? And in the psychedelic experience, you can really almost like see that like arising from your soul, and it's like you can't ignore it almost. But then to tell someone love is true and then being like, yeah, whatever, hippie. Whatever, dude. It's difficult, friend. But I realize that we're not supposed to sometimes, you know, that if they don't want to hear it, you won't be able to say it. It's kind of like a dance, you know, they have to be willing to dance with you. The grass is always pinker in the other dimension. Everything is exactly as it was supposed to be. Right, Rambler? I mean, green is a beautiful color, dude. Green marijuana plants bring some joy to my heart as well. How's you, Burby Burp? Thank you, Jovan, shooting in and saying hi. So nice to have you here too. Think I missed a few. Green would be a tough one not to pick. I think I've already read. I want the sky to be plaid, plied. I don't know how to say that word. Is it a color? I want the sky to be plied. I've never heard about that color. I want the sky to be red. I mean, maybe get born on a star or around a star, like a red giant next time, Cartoons. Sky will be red all the time. Ooh, I like that, Isaac. I have to agree with you. Plied? Joy, that's awesome. What does that mean? What is it? What color is plied? Plied. Plaid? Plaid? Paid, right? Played? But then it would be YED. Plied? My brain, please drive me fly. Maybe brown and pink. That would trees would look ridiculous, and every brunette is now cotton candy. That's that's too sexy. You stop it right now, Isaac. you you stop it. I have a thing for brunettes, you know. Like for some reason that seems to be my archetype. Now suddenly all of them have cotton candy hair, as you mentioned, and I watched Elfen Lied as a 14-year-old dude. So I'm exponentially broken, and now you're breaking me more. Dude. Oh goodness! I got back on my VR headset for the first time in a whole year. I really didn't miss it, and I don't know what made me go back. I feel the technology isn't quite there yet, right now, Cartoons. Like I think I might buy myself a VR headset in like 4 years or something when the tech is actually good. But right now, I think it's a little bit lackluster. Like there's not enough human connection there right now. At least that's what I think. I mean, you can go into like VR chat rooms and you can get nothing but human connection, but Right now, I feel the experience is more a novelty than it is a paradigm shifter, at least in its current state. Ooh, turn brown to bronze or copper, make it shiny. Suddenly, brown becomes gold. You know, like unfortunately, I have to bring it into our minds because it's probably already in our minds. We would be pooping gold. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And the trees would be gold, of course. You know, those mountains in the background would be beautifully gold. That would be so sick. That would be actually so cool. Imagine the reflections. Might get blinded, you know, by the sun's reflection on the mountains, but it would be cool as well. I like shiny browns like Quinta, Brunson, Emmy dress. Yes, yes, you know. Yeah, yes, these colors. I completely. I was having a conversation with my mom about this the other day, where I told her I would rather learn colors based on their numbers, you know, on a, how do you say that? On the color wheel, you know, so that I can like give this label and get the color arising from it, then learn names. It's beautiful to me that you friends remember Quinta, Bronzen, and Emmy dress. Different shades of brown, I'm guessing. I'm sure I'm sure how. Not sure. I'm guessing how to explain plaid. Plaid is a pattern of cross hatching of colors. Ah, okay. That's a good explanation. Thank you, Connor. I appreciate that. We say what we want to say. We hear what we want to hear. This is why communicating requires the utmost care and attention. If not, we are only communicating 25% effectively. Ooh, what a trip, dude. Yeah, right? Because you're contributing a part, they're contributing a part. From these two contributed parts, there is a wholeness from you, or at least another part that you contribute, and then a part that this person contributes, right? And then these parts can only be contributed when you're contributing together, but they are still separate because you are separate. But then you have to give from yourself, making these four nodes of connectivity. And if you're trying to share information and there is none of this connectivity, and this person is unwilling to receive, then you're only sharing 25% of the information. You're only being 25% effective. At least that's the way I saw it in the moment. Thank you, brother Isaac. Beautiful way to see it. I'm not sure. Tarzan, like Scottish kilts. That is Blaz. Scottish, dude. That just saw that for a second. You would straight up trip out, you know, just walk outside, drop on the floor, spazzing out. Wow, I just did that earlier this week on Tunes. I really enjoy jumping back in. You see, difference in fractals, dude. Difference in fractals. It's an experience worth having. I haven't, you know, had access to any good VR headsets just yet. Like the closest I've gotten to a good VR headset was in 2017 when I used an HTC Vive at a gaming convention to play a game where you walk into an arena and then you gladiate with people. I learned that day that there is something in me that used to be very good at murdering things. Probably my previous life or the warrior inside of me. Really good at murdering. But Melt, I can stab zombies with baguettes. Why would I not want to do this? I'm not saying you shouldn't, Isaac. I just want the tech to be better. I want definitions, then I want fidelity. Went into VR chat, made a few friends, and I found a lot more depressing people that literally live in that world. I mean, dude, there are a lot of depressing people that live in the world right now, and that number is exponentially increasing. Like we are living in the midst of a meaning crisis. You know, what is important? What is of importance? Not realizing that we are of importance, you know, believing even that we are not of importance. Of course, it's going to cause us to be depressed. Love to all you friends. Love right back to you, brother Guy, brother Goo. Imagine when we have ocular implants, we can absolutely apply filters to process colors as different ones. You're right. Shit. Shit. We can actually do that, shiznit. Yes. Suddenly, like I didn't actually see that until just now. Thank you, Isaac. Actively expanding my brain. I gotta work and be salty. Furiously types buttons. I'll fucking type these buttons, but I'm not gonna enjoy doing it, assholes. You're not gonna get any goodness of my soul. Lane is here too. He says it's been alright. This week has gone by too fast. Means you're having fun, dude. Or at least you're being busy, which can either be good or bad, whatever you believe about it. Thank you, Lane, for joining us, friend, for making some time. I'd want all skin tones to be just random neon colors. Who can be racist when we're all Skittles? Dude, it would be almost like a whole vibe on auras as well. You know, instead of it being randomized, maybe a person can allow a certain set of information about themselves to be available to all other beings, right? And then based on that information, your brain assigns a certain color, a certain Skittle flavor to this individual. You know, and this person is definitely a red Skittle. So scrumptious. This person is a yellow Skittle. So shiny. You know, all of us. The most beautiful of Skittles. Plod. Plod. Thank you. Plaid. Oh, so it is plaid. Okay. Thank you, Maxine. I'll DM you, Burr. Thank you for the love. Dear Joe Fun. Things have been a bit dark, but I'm ready to step back into the light. Let's have our talk soon. How are you? Thank you for the love, Kira Burb. We're here with you, dear sunshine sister. Realize that you're just stepping into you, right? That the dark has just been the forgetting of yourself, in a way. And we oscillate between those two states, and you're here now. Impossible Light. I love all this color talk, being a visual artist. If you want some universal color names, try the Pantone color wheel. Universal color names, the Pantone color wheel. I don't know what those words mean, Isaac. If you want some universal color names, try the Pantone color wheel. Like, are you telling me if I want to know more names for colors, there is something called the Pantone color wheel where I can click on the color and it tells me the name? Maybe. Do let me know if I'm interpreting correctly. Lane Brain over there, killing it at the college, being a smart G. Proud of you, Hobie. Thank you for the love, Jovan. Lane the main man, happy to see you, fly by guy. How was the vacation? Salt makes sweet taste better sometimes. Gabdigoo, thank you for the love, Jovan. Oh, Lane, wish over there. It was divine. Yes, it was. Much love to you, Goops. Thank you, dear friends, for the love. Conversation is like having a Lego set with all having a Lego set with all the pieces mixed up, and both of you have half of the instructions in another language. Make the Death Star, dude. Yeah, quite literally. You know, like for me, one of the examples or interpretations that I thought was kind of cute was this interpretation where an idea could be seen as like a hyperdimensional, self-transforming, like four, technically five-dimensional object, right, intersecting itself. And then your idea, or at least your consolidation of the idea, takes this hyper transforming thing and makes it three-dimensional in your mind space, right? And then from that three-dimensional perspective, you use these sounds taken from these small little buckets of meaning, right? And then you string them together. And in my mind, it's almost for me like every single sentence is like a string of paper mache that I'm placing over this three-dimensional object, trying to paint you a full picture of the thing I'm trying to give you. But even then, you'll still only see the outline. And if you're unwilling to explore inside what this thing means to you, then you'll never be able to fully unravel this complex idea, complex thing I'm trying to give you. Thank you for building Death Stars with me, beloved friends. We catch up soon, Joe. Thank you, Lane. Please do. I'm mostly pumped for brain interfaces so that I can change the taste of food. Make sugar taste like feet and kale taste like KFC. Yeah, fuck sugar, dude. You know, like, or just if you every time you think about sugar, it brings this deep sense of understanding to your mind of like the insulin spiking and the amount of inflammation that it causes your body, the amount of havoc that it kind of like reeks on your brain, and you're just like, yeah, no, yeah, I'm also confused. We've had him here for a while, her here for a while. It's been bored, friend. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice. Love is true. You know. I hope that at least ears have been open this whole time. This is an amazing allegory, Isaac. I want to build the Death Star with all of you friends. We are actively, Connor. We're building the Death Star, dear friend. Let's build a life star, friend. There we go. Isaac already knows. Wow, I just got hit of an alternate universe where humanity, instead of separating over religion or race or zodiacs, like super aggressively taken to heart, rival tribes all separated by the stars, like hippie Game of Thrones. Hmm. Hmm. I can see it happening. You know, that's the thing that's making me. There will always be something to fight and separate over. Technically, most religions are based on the zodiac, especially the Christian one. So we kind of already do. Or do you literally mean what month you were born in tribe? No, I think he means like different people. Let me say, so it's times like these where I wished I worked at a television show. I kept imagining hilarious scenes for these tribes to act out. Isaac, you will. Oh, that's part of the plan. You know, I don't have the resources just yet to create a animation studio, but I will, and you will 100% be in the payroll. Oh, gonna pump your brain for all of them genius ideas, and then be able to give all of those genius ideas to other people. You know, instead of them just staying with you selfishly, give them to other people. Yes, dude, 100%. Literally, the month cancers, liberals, Libras, etc. They all aggressively follow the tendencies and are at odds. Oh, they're like completely archetypally identified with their zodiac, and like they almost cannot escape that fractal, and that's just how they are. That's exactly what I think when I think of consuming sugar melt. Good. Keep thinking. Me too, but I kind of tune it out. Like I watch something, pretend like I'm not eating sugar. Stop thinking, and just yum yum yum. Fortunately, I've been exercising as well, at least. Kind of sounds like a new Netflix show. Let's make it happen. We're not even gonna have Netflix shows. That's the thing, Pontoons. We're gonna have the Melting Collective as a thing, right? No Netflix. People will be vying to get our content on their platforms so that they can kind of have a monopoly, so that people have to pay for their subscription service in order to get our content. And then we're gonna be like extra Giga Chad 5000s, and then make our content free to everyone. And then if you want to support the space, if you want to support the continuation of that energy, you can. This is a lot of energy, huh? Hmm. Color. Thank you. There's actually something wrong with me. I'm more and more convinced by the day. For some reason, my Reddit stream bonked out, but we're still here, at least. That's what I'm saying. I'd want to be more fully adult comedy style instead of horrific and sad. Just poking fun, like all the cancers are emotional and super sensitive and simply. The Tauruses are all Giga Chat, lift bros, constantly checking each other. Yeah, it's like, yeah, yeah. You what, bro? And like Giga Chad lift bros that also like light incense in their gyms and is extremely peculiar about their food choices and stuff. I can completely see. And we can even articulate slash animate them as anthropomorphized versions of themselves. To the more of a Taurus you are, the more bullish you look, for example. And then if you're a little bit more identified with your humanity, for example, you might just be a little bit less or more anthropomorphized. More anthropomorphized, yes. What other Libras up to? Card time, beloved Maxine. I'm sorry that the stream dropped on the Reddit side, but clearly, card time today was going to be too much for them to handle. This music playing. Man, this light. It's pretty bright. It's pretty red. Get the beans. You two beans. That sounds like a channel name if I've ever heard one. But I think Laughing Tiger is pretty cool as well. Get the beans. For some reason it feels like they might already exist. The Get the Beans. YouTube beans. I'm just imagining this whole show that just has like video after video of someone opening a can of beans and then pouring said can of beans into a bowl or something. Libras are all thinkers. They ponder, but they can't make a decision. I'm imagining a Libra doctor watching a patient and spending days thinking about how to proceed and then hope he dies from waiting. Yeah, that sounds that sounds about right, dude. I mean, you know, in a weird way, our current reality is like that as well. Neon Mel TD Zodiac Wars, created by Isaac Mel, animated by your boy Cartoons. Dude, Cartoons actually sounds like such a freaking cool name for animation company as well, dude. Written by Joy Vive, directed by Jovan, funded by Shan. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Manifest. You hear that, Shannon? We're gonna need you to fund us, friend. You're gonna be so rich, so freaking abundant. I'm not saying that the signs are like this, just an insane exaggeration of the stereotypical. Yeah, you know, make a show out of it, if you will. Like really kind of like lean into the characters. Love you all at the chiropractor doing weird stretches. Get them. Get them her stretches and feel better for it, laughing. Tiger, beloved Maxine. I take that personally, Isaac. I have no trouble making decisions. I love this. I love you. Damn! Wow! Wow! The lesson. The lesson. This card is like the card. This is the first card I pulled when I ever opened my deck. First card I pulled when I ever opened this deck. The lesson. This card kicked my ass. Like, sent me flying back into the couch the first time I pulled it. I'm super sensitive and emotional, but that's a Cancer coincidence, Isaac. Yeah, it's like spits on ground. Spits on ground again. There you stereotype me. Stretch it out, Maxine. There we go. Thank you, Joy Vive. The lesson. Look at that shiznit. It's an angel holding a flower of life. Being like, look at that. Look at the way she looks at you. Stop looking at my face. There we go. Look at her. She's like, you know. Look at that smirk. She's like, you know, dude. You know. You know what the lesson is. You know. I do know, Angel. She, this smirk, dude. She's really looking at me right now. She's like, huh? You gonna learn the lesson? Yeah. I'm trying to, beloved Angel. I'm really trying to. There we go. Same here. So much love to you, friends. The lesson. I did pull it upside down, and it goes: the flower of life has no reverse aspect. However, you were asked to be discerning with any information that you are receiving at this time. Take that, especially as I'm reading the full meaning. You know, take it. Be discerning with the information you're receiving. Don't be like, yes, this is truth. Be like, yes, I feel. The angelic figure is holding up for your exploration one of the most primary patterns in sacred geometry, known as the flower of life. This configuration is made up of 19 interlocking circles or spheres and is an archetype of pure life force. It is the container of our cellular membrane and one vehicle through which information and light is entering consciousness at this time. Just a quick caveat. When you, as a single-celled organism, you know, when the sperm cell and the egg cell become one, from that oneness, it splits into two. From that two-ness, splits into four. From that four-ness, it literally does that. Those spheres intersecting on top of one another, if you could take a slice, and you could take that slice in a two-dimensional way of the three-dimensional object, that's you. That's you. Over enough time, flowering of life outside of yourself. That's what a container of cellular memory. You as that container of cellular memory, right? All of your cells remember who you are. Otherwise, you would just blah, blah, blah. melt into nothingness right now. Hmm? Okay. Each piece of this holographic information system reflects the greater intelligence of the whole. The flower of life is found in numerous places around the planet, verifying the use of this wisdom system across time and cultures. What lessons are you learning at this moment in your life? What is occurring that may need clarification or a broader perspective? Information is continuously entering consciousness through this holographic divine matrix and is available to anyone who chooses to tune into its lessons. Allow yourself to enter a state of heightened awareness. View this card as a portal of holographic View this card as a portal or holographic crystal ball through which you may find more clear. Can't words right now. View this card as a portal or holographic crystal ball through which you may more clearly see all aspects of your situation. Ask for guidance from your teachers and guides, and be willing to look at your inquiry from a fresh perspective. Sit quietly as this information enters your awareness. Experience how it feels in your heart and soul. Accept only what feels true to you as a lesson of universal love. Accept only which feels true to you as a lesson of universal love. Damn. What was that? Something big just ran through the grass there. Oh, it's Peppy. It's just Peppy. She's not that big. Did I miss a few? Yeah, they did. They keep bonking out for some reason. I'm sorry. I'm back again. I do Shanna. Slowly but surely, the pain is disappearing. Within 11 years, you're going to be literally completely transformed, Maxine. You know, you're going to look back at this version of yourself and being like, how is it possible that I'm this version of myself? We're going to be absolutely flabbergasted. I want sacred geometry card, diversity, too many white ladies on them. I think I do actually have a card that doesn't have a white lady on it. I'm going to show you this one, Joy Vive. I think you'd love it. She's beautiful. I believe Francine Hart is a white lady. And so she's probably just creating from her fractal. There's a shaman. Looks like he could be from South America. There we go. This one also seems like I think she's an Indian woman. Divine Mother. I think you're gonna love the card I'm looking for. There she is. Look at that, Joy Vive. Gaia grid. Mama Gaia as an African woman holding our entire planet. It's one of my favorite cards. Yo. I think there might be another one. There she is. I don't know if she's an African woman, but compassionate Pele. And this one as well. African man, white woman. I don't think I've ever seen hair like that, but beautiful nonetheless. This one I feel could be all women. Pele summoning, you know, it's a lava goddess. Her head being the lava coming out the top of the mountain. Lava flowing down her body, being given to the earth. Super cool card. Another one of a feminine entity. The lesson. The lesson that we are all here now. And that's what's important. That we share that here nowness with one another instead of trying to separate. trying to convince ourselves that we're not the exact same thing. I'm not even faith. I'm not even faith. Because it's you. You already have the infinite wealth and the love, and you spread it to yourself and others, Sharon. There we go. I have a chiropractor my place today. There we go. Love you. Thank you, Isaac, for tuning into the synchronicity. Let me get a hit of life. There we go. Holographic domain matrix. Red pill or blue pill? Both. I'd like to empty the pills on my mirror, please. I'm so happy to have that, Maxine. Thank you for the love. The Mind Mother. That's a beautiful card. Mama Gaia. Joy V, you as Mama Gaia. Literally. Cartoons, you made me cry a little. I'm grateful for you being here, as we are for you, dear Shannon. Love to you, Joe Vibes, St. Tunes, and Shannon, Isaac, and Joy, Maxine, and Lane, and Mountain Melters. Love y'all dearly. I know you know, but it's a treat to share it with you on this daily. Thank you. Dear, dear. Yo, I'm seeing all of the cards I was just looking at. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sending it right back to you, Jovan. Thanks, Mel. I appreciate you going through the deck for me. I find Pele looks like a pacifier in Islander on that card. A pacifier Islander on that card. It is a pretty interesting one. Thank you, Joy V. I want you to feel united, included, beyond recognition even, right? Like to feel so connected that it doesn't feel like connection. It just feels like what's right? Like, oh, this is how it should be. Not to be like, oh, I am connected. Yes, I am connecting right now. I love you. I love you so much, Joy B. What does card 47 look like now? Let me check for you. And we pulled card 46, so one before the one you're asking about. Ooh, the fruit of life, Maxine. Ah, sorry, Shannon. It's a lily. So there's a flower of life in the background, and then there is this imagery that you can kind of like pull out of the flower of life. It's a gorgeous card as well. You want to hear what it means? Okay. Mm, another one. Card number 47. This is too much. Shannon, this card's core meaning is abundance and manifestation. This card takes us a step beyond the flower of life by removing the circular boundaries of the flower of life and adding another full rotation. We find a pattern of 13 circles known as the fruit of life. These 13 circles is the fruit of life. Well, it kind of like goes down and like this, like this. The pattern holds complex informational systems and is considered a female gateway. The abundance emerge. Like I'm tripping out just reading these words right now. Goodness. The abundance emerges from a water lily, which represents our potential for enlightenment. Pulling this card suggests that by the fruit of your labor and vision, abundance has or is about to manifest in your life. Rejoice in the knowledge that you are drawing in abundance and manifesting your goals. Abundance comes in many forms, and you are cautioned not to get caught up in thinking that abundance must be about wealth. True, as you find your life's path, the rewards will flow freely and hard times will pass. There are, however, many other types of abundance: beauty, love, friendship, hope, and growth, to name just a few. Let the abundance you are manifesting bring you to a greater understanding of your purpose in life and an expanded view of plenty. In anything abundant, there exists nourishment that feeds your needs and offers you the opportunity to be of service. The maxim, as you give, so shall you receive, is absolutely true from the standpoint of your current situation. The message is one of unselfishly sharing. Sharing your abundance is spreading light. That's too much. That's way too much. You'll see. That's trippy. Especially since Connor manifested the understanding first. And then Shannon was like, oh. And then Shannon was like, how about? And then the card was like, yeah. Okay, I'm done. Love is the only gift that you always receive when you give it. The most valuable renewable resource out there. Thank you, Joe, for sharing it well. Thank you, beloved Isaac, for doing it too. Thank you, Connor. So much love to you, Joy V. Have a most beautiful, most gorgeous day, everyone. Love to you, dear Shan. You know, like from Hawaii, Tonga, etc. I have a vague idea of what you mean. You know, your previous comment attached to it as well. But the imagery, the fractal, isn't being elicited in full, unfortunately, Joy V. That's beautiful. Thank you, Mel. Yeah, thank you, Shan. Beautiful card. Good choice, Shan. Literally sounds like what I said to you. Exactly. Exactly what you said, Connor. Damn, good call, Shan. I've been seeing 47s a lot. Yeah, and then you manifested. Literally hearing Mel speak about the abundance card right after I got my adjustment and chiropractor talking to me. Synchronicity. Showing up every single day is an opportunity for serendipity, right? The fact that Maxine just finishes, opens the stream back up, here's this message, Shannon prompting for this message to be read, my willingness to read it instead of being like, no, yeah, and that's just now, I mean, me and Shannon. And then technically it's Trippy as well because me, Connor, Shannon. And then it's Trippy because me, Connor, Shannon, Maxine. And that is just with the information we know, right? And there's 7 people watching right now and 4 up dudes, Shannon. So 47 again. Tripping hard, hardly tripping. Funded by Shan is now more real than ever, literally. Sharing your abundance. Sharing your abundance. I want to read that last line again. And I'm tripping out. Like I'm tripping out so hard that I can't remember what the last line was. The message, no, sharing your abundance is spreading light. That's the last line. Sharing your abundance is spreading light. And the reverse is you lack for nothing, yet you feel a sense of scarcity. Adjust your attitude and welcome the manifestation of abundance. This one has slapped me around. Like I've like been snot in tears, pulling this card upside down. You lack for nothing. You lack for nothing. You lack nothing. Yet you feel a sense of scarcity. Damn. Spreading your abundance is spreading your light. I wish I could do loving kung fu. Love. You just loving kung fu with me, dude. Do some sick ass kung fu kicks and blast some loving chi energy elsewhere. Thank you. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you for the love, dear friends. I freaking love you too. Love you so much. Go and love yourself. God damn it. Go and love yourself right now. You go and love yourself. The stream is literally just a bunch of connections, coincidences, and beautiful fractals. So many unreal vibe waves. Vibe vibes. Love, love, love. Love to you too. Thank you, friends, for joining me today. For breathing the same atmosphere as that I do. You know? For being illuminated by the same light that I'm being still lightly illuminated by. For being on this beautiful spaceship we call Mama Gaia together. I don't want to end the stream, but I'm going to say goodbye to now. For now, I want to go give water back to the universe. Give time to my loved ones as well. There we go. Be the beautiful you that you are today. Those years, I'm happy that I waited for that. Maxine, Shannon, Jovan, Connor, Joy V, Isaac. I might be missing some of you friends. I see there might be another friend here. I'm not saying your name. Thank you, Meltian, Meltmorian, Melt, Meltonian Mororian, for joining me now, today. Don't cry because it's over. Cry because it's cry because it happened. I like that. Don't cry because it's over. Cry because it happened. What, Dad? I'm just like, cry, bitch. Cry harder right now. Mwah. Love you. I'll see you.